So are you logged in? Did you like log into an account? Do you have a StreamYard account?
Nuh-uh, I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wonder what it's saying or what the actual option is then.
Right. And oh yeah, there it is. It's showing up on my channel as I'm live streaming with you.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. And you didn't, I bet you, is there a StreamYard watermark on it? Curious.
No, there's your watermark.
So
Looks
you're
good.
rebroadcasting my stream. Interesting. Okay. All right.
That works for me.
That's so interesting. So, but YouTube doesn't. I'm surprised that StreamYard offers that. 'Cause my understanding is that
Somebody shook
YouTube-
some hands somewhere.
Huh. Okay.
And I just got my alert in my inbox that, hey, you're live on your channel with Jason Howell. So yeah, it's gone through the API.
That I've learned something new. I'll have to look into that and see. I'm so perplexed
Outstanding.
why they would offer that if that's not. Oh, and then I see in my little interface, little pull down that says guest destination from Aunt Pruitt. So it's showing me as the kind of facilitator that you are also broadcasting. I'm so fascinated that they allow this. I could have
Right.
sworn that this was not allowed.
Right.
But
They
it's
clearly
like
said
literally
it.
embedded into
They clearly said one thing and did another.
the system. That's so interesting. Okay. Well, if either of the channels get
Yeah, we'll find out
I guess
in
we
about
can-
24
can-
hours.
we can point to StreamYard and be like, this is StreamYard's fault. It asked us if we wanted to do it and we did it. That's interesting. Hello, everybody. Hello from Finland.
Wow. Hey,
says
chat. Good to see
Nico.
y'all. I know some of those names in there.
Paolo. We're broadcasting. Cinder. Let's see who else we got here. The Ozone Nightmare, of course.
I know that dude.
Yeah. Hello, Thomas. Daniel. All sorts of familiar faces. What's
Good to
up,
see you.
y'all?
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all.
What's up, Ant?
Man, nothing. just pushing
Pushing.
along as best I can. And as I told somebody the other day, I'm just walking around trying to shake money trees. And
Yeah, well, that's better than I'm not like shaking money trees that are out there necessarily as much as I am just continuing to like try and plug away and work as hard as I can on the channel and
yeah,
create stuff in the hope that money starts falling out of it at some point.
Exactly. We are on very similar paths, my man.
No, we are. We totally are. That's why I thought like we should do this because I
Yeah.
bet you and I are like encountering a lot of similar. I mean, the end of our employment at Twit was identical,
Yeah.
and then kind of our post work arc has been very, very similar. You ended up getting a gig with ZDNet, though. How is that going, or has that begun yet?
It has begun. I have written 2 pieces. They haven't been published yet. The onboarding took a little while. And just getting through their CMS was a bit of a challenge because I haven't been inside of their CMS in 5 years and things have changed. And I've been in my own CMS with my own website. So my workflow is like, I can get in there and I can just knock some stuff out, you know, but this CMS, it's a little different. And so I was a little bit slow, but I have 2 things that have definitely been written. They just haven't been published yet. Hopefully one of them will be published today or tomorrow.
Nice. And you have to kind of wait for them to do their copy edit and all that stuff.
Yep. The editors go through and do their thing.
Pick a title that's clickable. Do you select the title or do they?
No, I put my own in, but if they want to suggest something, they do have a notation where we can change things or get back in touch with me and say, hey, we updated the title. They're very, very open book over there as far as the communication goes. It's, of course, everybody uses Slack, but then there's another platform we use for managing workflow. And it's, you can't be out of the loop with
Right.
with Red Ventures and ZDNet. You can't be. There's no way.
I would say one thing that I have not missed post Twit is Slack.
You
I
know,
have
and
no
that's the
use for Slack.
thing.
I uninstalled it on my phone. I was like, I don't need this anymore.
But see, that's the thing. I use Slack for my family.
Oh, that's right. You do. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we don't do a group text message.
Yeah.
It's I hop in there and I have channels for our general. My world is on fire. You better answer me right now. I have the random section for us to just chatter about whatever is on our mind. It's usually my college boy talking shit and sending me memes and whatnot. And then I have stuff that's specific to, all right, this is your college channel. What's going on with your bill? How's your dorm? You know, do you need food? And same for my now high school senior. He's got a new college channel now, and we got to put stuff in there because he's doing the registration process and all of that good stuff. Because I everybody that I'm around is ADD, so I have to try to figure out a way to keep people focused. And Slack does a good job of letting them focus direct communication right here on this particular channel, and it's in black and white, so there's never any confusion.
Yeah. How did you escape the ADD?
I don't know, but damn it, man. I swear everyone around me in my world has some level of ADD. And, you know, I do my show with Queen Pruitt, and just doing the show with her, it is hilarious. I just sit back and laugh most of the time because I could see the wheels churning, and she'll be focused on one thought, and then something else pops in and she jumps to the next subject.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's good. It's good radio. I'll say.
Oh, totally. No, I love it. I love the pieces that I've dropped in and listen. And you're doing a good job of pulling out clips and promoting them, or at least, you know, spreading around little nuggets from the podcast, which I find to be such a beast in and of itself. That is a job in and of itself. Obviously, it is a job in and of itself. People do that for a living.
It is.
And I just, if I wanted to do that effectively for the stuff that I'm creating, it would eat up the rest of my free time. And
it does.
Like,
I'll just go ahead and tell you now. It does.
Yeah, it does. Because you got to find the thing, then you got to prep the thing, and then you got to put the thing all over the different platforms in the way that they prefer.
Yeah.
And you got to do that, you know, if you're doing it like the way that I think a lot of people recommend, you're doing that multiple times a week for one episode.
Yep.
To kind of keep it in people's, keep it in front of people. Keep
I've
them
decided
remembering and knowing.
I've decided that for now, I'm only going to do 2 clips for now.
Yeah.
That's it, because that's what my bandwidth can handle at the moment, between getting that stuff done as well as trying to go out here and find clients, you know, because I still got to eat, you know. And right now that show, I had originally agreed to do the show that if it could pay at least the water bill, and right now it's paying half the water bill, so it's almost there. So I got to get back out there and keep hustling. In finding clients out there. So I've committed to doing just 2 highlight clips a week, and it takes at least 2.5, 3 hours, you know, to get that done. And you know, sometimes I don't remember highlight stuff in there, so it takes time to scrub back through and find stuff. But I've gotten into a habit of trying to like mark down stuff if it pops up in the middle of the recording.
That's a really great approach. Yeah,
and then I have templates inside of Premiere to get me started. So I just really go ahead and just drop right into the template. I don't have to rebuild things. And, you know, there are AI tools out there. You know, you're familiar with Opus.
Yep, I'm subscribed. Yes, I have a subscription, a year subscription to Opus. And I'm very 50-50 on it.
I've canceled
very
mine.
50-50 on it.
Yeah, I was using it. I was month to month, and I canceled it because of the way it works and the process of it just trying to churn through. It takes time for it to figure out the stuff that you're trying to figure out, and almost the same amount of time that it takes me to scrub through. you know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's finding usable clips and it takes time to do that, that's fine. Given I'm freed up to do other stuff with that time while it's doing it.
Mhm.
But I just kind of found, and I haven't popped in there in the last couple of months. I'm regretting that I bought a year subscription up front. I truly in the beginning was like, oh, this is the answer to my prayers, and then I just went, because that's how they always get you. They're like, well, you could get a month, but you save if you get a year. I
Yep.
was like, well, this
I
is
thought
better
about
than
it.
the thing that I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to do it and commit to it and do it. And I just found like it gives you 20 to 30 clips. And some of them are okay, but I
Right, they're
still
not
had
all
to
that
go
good.
in after the fact and do a bunch of like, editing to it. And it was never kind of ideal. I mean,
That's
I'm
the thing that got me, was going back in and having to change
use
up
their
some of the
interface,
text
which
and
is
stuff.
slow.
And I
And,
was like, no, I can just do this myself in probably just about the same amount of time. And I have, because I made those templates and
Yeah.
just sit
That's-
them out there.
templates are so important. And I mean, I will also say I am deeply grateful for the fact that someone reached out to me when I was in the midst of freaking out about how do I market my damn stuff, because I'm horrible at it. And I won't call him out, but I will say, sort of call him out and say, hey, Al, good to see you here. But anyways, he reached out, and he is incredibly talented in this, and just basically said, hey, let me help you out.
Good.
And so it took that off my plate, and oh my God, it's
good.
like the world is like peaceful and quiet again, because doing that was just so stressful for me. It was stressful because, as you know, and as anyone who knows, who goes into business for themselves or is trying to start their own thing, like, time is, as everybody says, a limited resource. And when you're starting out, when I'm starting out, like, there are a million things that I need to do, on top of the stuff that everybody, like, who's watching this stream or subscribes to the shows, like, they get to enjoy the end of that puzzle, which is we create, we wrote the content, we produced it, we edited it, we published it.
Yep.
And then there's everything that's around that supports it, and all of our ambitions to kind of grow, the foundations and the fundamentals of everything surrounding it. And you just, there's just not enough time to do everything as one person. Yet in the modern creator economy, to start off, you have to be expert in all these things.
Have to be. It's so funny. I remember
It's
speaking
exhausting.
with you back in, I think it was back in December. No, it was January. I want to say.
Oh,
it was
when we got
January.
coffee?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember
January.
thinking about just the whole process. It started out as a bit of hurry up and wait, because we had to build stuff.
Yeah.
We had to build things up. We had to get this set up over here, fix this over there, so it'll be ready to go when I hit the button. Go buy this, go buy that. It was a whole freaking process, and it's still ongoing. I still look now at my studio. My studio still isn't where I want to be, but it is functional at the moment. So I have to just step back and just leave it be.
Yeah.
And yes, Ty Q, like and subscribe, please and thank you. I see you in there.
Okay, so peeling this back, because you're rebroadcasting the stream, are you seeing the chats through the initial stream, or are you seeing the chats through your YouTube?
No,
I
this
see that
is
one
just
too.
on your this is
Okay, so
only
that's-
on yours. I haven't even looked on my side.
Yeah, no, I'm just
if I
curious.
can.
I'm so curious how StreamYard is.
Let me see if it
doing
shows
this,
it.
that it's okay.
Okay, well, it does give me a chat on my channel, but
Is it a separate chat, or
It
the
is
same one?
definitely separate, because I don't see any of the other ones in there.
Got it. Okay. Oh, but I saw your hey there.
Yeah, interesting. Because I don't see anybody else other than
But it says
Nico that
linked.
popped in.
It has like a little link icon above you, so it might be sending it to both. Or I honestly have no idea.
Interesting.
I have no clue. As with so many things.
I'm glad it's working though.
Yeah, me too. That's a really cool feature. I was not at all aware that it did that. So you're using DaVinci Resolve to edit, is that right?
I use
that what
both. I use both.
And by both you mean DaVinci and Adobe, I'm assuming.
DaVinci and Premiere. I started using DaVinci a handful of years ago and then got away from it because it just wasn't wasn't up to snuff in my opinion. And then when I got
Come
my
a long way.
man,
I mean, that's what I keep hearing.
real
I
talk.
do a lot of research about this stuff, and people, DaVinci comes up so often, and it's free, right? It's free.
Well, there is a
okay.
free version, and the free version is pretty good. But for the type of stuff that I do, I need the version that's going to optimize hardware acceleration. And the paid version will optimize for hardware acceleration. But it's only $300. That's it.
Right. And one time.
Yeah, one time.
None of this subscription
No
baloney.
subscription. And I'm telling you, I'm an authorized Adobe affiliate, and I am an Adobe fanboy, and I still use Adobe products. But man, DaVinci Resolve is like right there at eating Adobe's lunch from a video standpoint. It's really good. Granted, there are some things, because I still use Premiere to do my highlights. There are things in Premiere that are just so much easier and look better than DaVinci's. But if I just wanted to do some sort of short film documentary style, or even my talking head stuff, I can do it in DaVinci quick, fast, and in a hurry, especially if I wanted to shoot it in something like Blackmagic Raw, because it just performs so much faster. Or even using my Canon C-Log footage is so much smoother inside of DaVinci Resolve versus me using that Canon C-Log footage inside of Adobe at this time.
Explain. So the C-Log thing. What exactly is that? Because I've done some reading about it, and I think my camera supports it. I think
You had like a GH5, right?
GH5, yeah.
So with
Maybe
you have I believe that's Vlog.
Okay, all right.
them.
One of the logs. My camera does a log.
Yeah, it's a log format, and basically it's getting
camera guy.
the information from the sensor. It's not raw, but it's close to calling it raw. And when you get it's a very, very flat image. It doesn't have saturation or contrast. It's very, very flat. And
You have to put your LUTs
That's
to
right.
it afterwards, right? Okay.
Right. And you have
What's
to
a LUT?
apply.
What the heck is a LUT?
A LUT is a lookup table, and in layman's terms, I like to just tell people it's the initial filter that you put on top of your footage to make your camera's footage look right. And there's different types of LUTs. You have your system LUT that is designed specifically for your camera, and then you have creative LUTs. And a lot of time people will confuse the two.
I hear a lot about those.
They'll shoot in log and they'll go and slap a creative LUT onto the footage, and I'm like, man, I just paid $50 for this LUT pad and it looks like crap. Well, it's because you didn't use the system LUT first. And then
you got to calibrate it. You got to like knock it to its baseline with the system LUT and then apply on top. Now, as you're applying multiple layers of LUTs, though, what does that do to the processing? Like, I just got a Mac Studio.
I saw that.
Which I'm really happy about because I was running into issues with my laptop, which when I bought it a couple of years ago, I didn't buy it with 4K video editing in mind. Yeah. So I made the case to my wife, Stacy, and she was like, well, it's for your business. You need it, get it.
Yep.
So I got it, and I'm really, really happy, except that Adobe Premiere still, when I'm pulling in some motion graphics and stuff like that, I'm having to do a lot of rendering. Every once in a while, like I'll hit play and something's like frozen. I have to like stop and hit play again, and then it like picks up weird little things like this. So I'm already seeing little bits of performance issues. Does adding layers of LUTs, which would be the title if we were to title this podcast, layers of LUTs, would adding those slow things down even further?
It depends, because the LUT file isn't particularly huge, but it depends on the people that designed it and what they put into those cube files or 3D files that they design. So it sometimes you're not gonna see any type of degradation. Why are you still ringing, phone? I said no, stop. Sorry about that.
That's right. I didn't hear it.
But yeah, it depends. And again, Premiere, it's just not as fast as Resolve. It's just not, especially if you have the paid version. When it comes to the render and stuff, I don't know what they're doing differently at Blackmagic, but
Yeah.
it's something that's faster. And inside of Premiere, yeah, you can use proxies, and proxies does speed up the workflow.
Yeah, I've discovered that. Well, I mean, I heard about that a couple of weeks ago and thought, maybe I want to try that. But I mean, for the most part, since I've moved to the studio, things are moving way more acceptably fast. Yeah, I was like the first few videos, full length, fully edited videos that I did for the channel with the laptop. I mean, it was painfully clear that like I was spending at least 50% more time than I would if I had a better machine. And so at a certain point, then I started doing the math and I was like, okay, well, if I'm really committing myself to this long term, how much wasted time is that? That doesn't make any sense. If I want to be as impactful and efficient as possible. So that was my case.
Yep.
I'm really happy I did that.
That was the reason why I ended up buying the Mac that I have a year and a half ago, is because my Windows machine, it was all beefed up and so forth, but the Windows OS was just still craptastically slow and making things just crawl for me, and it was wasting time. And I was like, forget it, just bite the bullet and write the check, And I'm glad I did it. It's been a night and day experience.
Yeah. And I mean, there's two sides to writing the check. On the downside, man, I got to spend more money. But on the upside, I got a pretty sweet computer now. I'm pretty stoked to use it.
Yes.
And also, there's the fact that like my laptop I was using for everything. So I go upstairs to do the podcast because sometimes I have to do it in the pod corner.
Yeah.
And we'd connect to StreamYard and be ready to go, and my computer would start being really weird, and it would break the stream. It would break like my video connection to the stream, and then I'd have to reboot because I was using it for so many things. It was just bogging it down.
Yep.
Now I've got this desktop, which is, prior to having that laptop, I was always a desktop as my primary, just because I like it to be focused on that.
I still am, I still am. It wigged people out when I said I was looking for a new machine. And everyone kept saying MacBook Pro. And I'm like, a laptop just doesn't cross my mind when I'm thinking about I need to get some shit done. I'm sitting at my desk and I want a machine.
You've got the space, the spread out, organization. I've got this large, widescreen monitor. At the same time, now I'm stoked because I have both.
Yeah.
And so like, on Mondays I drive my daughter to volleyball and she's there for an hour and a half and it's in a different town. So I'm literally waiting for an hour and a half, and it's like, okay, well, that's an hour and a half that I can be editing video on this laptop.
Editing something, you can do some
I've got
pre-production.
a removable SD drive, solid state drive that I just plug into the laptop, and then when I come home, I plug it back into the Mac Studio. So
love that. Freaking love that.
Nice to be portable like that. But yeah, it's a lot of go. How are you managing your time?
Thank goodness for calendars, bro.
Yeah.
I have no
idea
idea what day it is anymore. And it's been like that for a long time. I literally have no idea if today is Monday or Tuesday. I have to look. Yep, it's Tuesday, March 26th, so my calendar, I spend so much time pitching people and looking for gigs and doing auditions and stuff like that. And I just stick it on the calendar. And I've gotten to the point now where I will tag Queen Pruitt onto the calendar too, just so she knows, because she'll go and ask me, hey, can you do this and that? And I'm like, yeah. And then my phone will alert me that you need to be heading out the door to so-and-so. I'm like, oh crap, I can't do that because I need to go do this. And so I'm between that and trying to shoot these high school games and so forth.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of that.
It's just the calendar. That is the only way. And typically I'll spend Saturday evening or Sunday morning lining up my calendar for the week as best I can. Just to go ahead and knock it out. Just give myself about 2 hours between watching something on Netflix or watching Mr. Sargent and Mr. Laporte over on NASA Tech guys doing their thing. In the background, I'm going through my calendar and trying to set up, okay, I can go shoot this game on Monday. I could shoot this game on Tuesday. I could follow up with this client. I could follow up with this rehearsal or this gig, and that is it. But when the day of shows up, I don't know what day it is. I just look at my phone and says, all right, I'm doing
It says I need to be there. Go there.
10 o'clock office hours with Jason Howell. Got it.
Okay. I will be there because it tells me to. Yeah, sometimes I forget to look at my calendar, and that's when I get into trouble. Having Tuesdays for 13 plus years be my Android podcast day, and now doing Android Faithful, that keeps me kind of on track.
Oh, nice. See, that was Thursday. That was Wednesdays and Thursday for me, and now it's just Wednesday. And even that's been a bit of a shift because, again, we're just everyday people. So Queen Pruitt's schedule is getting ramped up.
Everyday people talking everyday shit.
Yeah, so her everyday is now ramped up because she's got more class and she's rehearsing for this next play that she's in, and so.
Right on.
Yeah,
that's
so
good news.
So it's still Wednesday, but it's pushed to a little bit later in the evenings now because it's the only way that we could really make it work. And
what time do you record it?
Now we record at 10 o'clock our time.
Oh,
10 p.m.
That's too late.
It's late.
Yeah, that would be the most boring podcast if I had a standing 10 p.m. podcast recording. I would my eyes would be half closed.
So far it's been okay. And that's been part of the fun because she's exhausted. So she's going to say anything.
Right. Yes. Her defenses are down. She's like, normally I'd be going to bed right now, but instead I'm sitting here talking. So you get what you get.
It's so funny, man. But we'll get back to, we typically try to do like 9 at the latest or what have you, if we can do it sooner. But for the next coming weeks, it's definitely going to be 10 o'clock because of all of her rehearsal time. And someone in your chat, they asked me if I got it. Yeah. Cinder Fractal says, did you get a new photo of yourself with the beard for your shoots? And actually, I found a photo from a year or so ago or a year and a half ago, and I put that out there in the profile, and it saved me because I have a photo shoot tomorrow, and they had to decide, should he have a beard or should he shave?
When you say a photo shoot, they're shooting you or you're shooting at the photo shoot?
Oh yeah, this is my second modeling gig tomorrow. So yeah,
it's amazing, dude.
I got to tell you, Mr. Howell, like I said, I'm just trying to shake that damn money tree. Just shake it.
No kidding.
And if it's me shooting, I'm down for it. But if they need a model, I'll stick my neck out there for that too. And so far, this will be my second gig, and I'm looking forward to it. The last one is still under NDA. I can't say who it was, but it was a fun shoot. I've been checking out to see if I could finally post the pictures because it's for a company that a lot of us, especially in this tech industry, are going to know. And it was exciting to shoot for it, but yeah, cool. The shoot tomorrow, I was looking at the set and whatnot, and I was just going to try to be on set as like an assistant, to help out the photographer or help out with the gaffing and so forth. Mm-hmm. But I saw that they still needed models. I probably shouldn't say this on air, but I saw that they still needed a model, and the day rates that they have on there for the different classes, that's normally how it goes. Yeah. You get paid on a day rate. The day rate was so much better for the model versus being an assistant. And I was like, man, I can go over there and work a lot less hard on this set as the model versus going around dragging gear. And so
for sure.
I put my name out there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I put my name out there, and dude, they sent me a message like within the same day. Like, sure, you're in. And I was like,
dude,
cool.
That's amazing. That's cool. That's so cool. I remember the first time that I don't know if it was the first time you revealed it, but it was the first time that I heard you talk about your former life kind of modeling experience, and I think it was on This Week in Google and everything.
Yeah, that's right. It was on Twig.
That's really cool that you've like re-entered.
It's weird. It's cool and weird at the same time because that's at least 20 years ago of me.
Oh, I know. I remember I took a picture of the photo.
at least 20 years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it if the work's out there and people are interested. Yeah, I'll do it.
Heck yes. Yeah, you know what? You know what comes up for me right now is something that I've been kind of dealing with the past 3-ish months since the layoff and since really working on this stuff and hearing you talk about shaking the money tree
Hmm.
and recognizing that a lot of people when they're laid off, their natural instinct is to, all right, well, I'm gonna hit the ground searching for these opportunities because money is important. It's important for my family. I can't not make money because our family needs to survive. It's like this survival instinct that kicks into gear when suddenly you have to kick it into gear.
Hmm.
And when I look at myself, it's not that I don't have a survival instinct. Like if it really came down to it and I needed to, I do what I need to do. But I'm so focused on trying to put everything I have into creating some sort of content business that I haven't even created a resume. I have not created a resume since I was laid off. And my resume is not even updated. My last resume, probably 10 years old.
Mr. Howell. Well, I have thoughts on the resume stuff.
Yeah.
Depending on what you do, they're not really needed. Number one. But if they are needed, it's something you should keep updated regularly.
For
With
sure.
with
Yeah,
my
no, I realize
previous
that.
experience in corporate America, corporate IT, and all of that, I got my new job after working at a company for 16 years. I updated my resume, and at the end of the year, I double checked my resume and put it out there because I said, you know what? There's no loyalty in this game.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
need to be ready and have my stuff out there. So even coming to Twit, my resume was ready to go every year for the last 5 years.
So
And
smart. So smart. I thought those things. Oh, I should really update my resume. But it's kind of like marketing my podcast. Like I open it up to do it and it's such a big task that I don't enjoy
uh-huh.
that
Hmm.
that I end up not doing it.
You
Yeah.
know, and the thing
Even though I
is,
recognize how important it is.
but what you
I just
said
need
is 100% right because we're in this space as creators and we need to be creating something. And that is going to always be on your mind and always be on our minds as it should. So I get the struggles because you have to try to find that balance.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, most of the time, if I'm not shooting, Saturday evenings or Sunday mornings are like my quote admin days. That's the resume stuff. That's the calendar stuff. That's the all right, what bills are due this week stuff.
Oh,
you know,
geez, that's a whole day.
that's the admin stuff. And I try to take away from picking up the camera and clicking and creating something, just work on the office, work on the books stuff. You know what I mean? Because you got to do it at some point. And then
Yeah.
during the week, I don't look at it as often because I'm hoping during the week I'm looking through my viewfinder, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or in this case,
Yeah.
looking at someone else's lens.
Yeah. This keeps coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on here. Tay says, definitely should switch on super chats if that's an option, Jason. It's not an option for me yet because this channel, Yellow Gold Studios, is a new channel. And granted, in a short period of time, I grew it from 0 to, I think it's almost 1,400 at this
Outstanding.
point. So that's a solid number to begin with. A lot of people try for years to get that number. I'm super grateful for that. But I don't have the total number of hours watched yet. I'm
So
getting
folks, please keep hitting share and like right now. I'm going to share it now because it does help. I need to reshare it, this one again on my side. So let me hit that right now.
there. Are you
There.
doing that in?
Done.
Oh, and hey, and I see Joe Esposito on Twitter sent out an update about the Twitch channel and everything. Yeah. Yes, I understand. I totally recognize the need, the necessity for that stuff. And I
Hmm.
think it's just something that comes up for me is like, damn, am I doing enough? I think that's, constantly what I'm asking myself.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, like, you were talking earlier about ADHD and and your family's struggles with ADHD. And
My
like I only
family, my
recently
coworkers. Oh my gosh.
yeah, but like
All y'all at Twit, man, was killing me. Y'all were killing me.
yeah. I mean, I'm only recently diagnosed as of, like late last year. And so, well, mid last year. It's a real challenge for me now that I've got it in focus and now that I know so much more about it and
Yeah.
I realize it explains a lot. There's a
Yeah.
certain level of focus that comes really easy to me. And if it's
Hmm.
creative, like I can get lost down the wormhole for hours and
Dude,
not want
I
to come
feel you
back
on
out.
that. I feel you on that.
But if it's something that I'm the least bit uninterested in or not creative, or if there's a
Or
layer
if
of
it's
have to,
mundane. Yeah.
yeah, mundane, or a layer of have to, then it becomes incredibly difficult for me.
Yeah.
And I can second, third, and fourth guess myself the entire way through and spend, be like, no, damn it, I'm going to commit to this. And in 2 hours, I'm going to have this thing. And 2 hours later, I will have not done it, even though it's like I stared at a blank. I didn't literally stare at a blank wall, but I stared at the page trying to make it happen and I couldn't. And it's a real challenge. It really sucks.
Gosh. Yeah, I used to laugh back in the days at Twit. Even if it's Mr. Jammer B or Mr. Burke or Mr. Laporte himself,
Yeah.
just sitting there on the mic with the cameras rolling and literally just nudging him with my elbow, like, yeah, so about that sponsor we need to talk about now because you're just
Come
sort
on.
of
Yes,
trailing
totally.
off.
Oh boy, producing some of Leo's shows, and it's like, all right, we should probably go to a break. An hour later, it's like waking up from a deep sleep, like a deep coma. Like, whoa, what just happened? Oh, I guess we should take that break we were talking about an hour ago. Yeah, you probably should.
Man, I would
Yeah.
come home, and my family, they sort of got the idea that when I came back from the studio, just leave me be and let me decompress because we've been talking for 3 hours,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not the most talkative person out there or whatever. So it's a certain level of energy, but then it's also the fact that I was battling with ADD around me, and I do my very best to be empathetic, but as someone I am like ridiculously structured, it's sort of
Yeah.
scary. I battle, so when I come home, they just sort of get out of the way and leave me be. And I remember
Yeah.
when I initially noticed it, I was like, I come home and all of y'all are just bouncing all over the place. Even the daggum dogs are ADD. And then I said, everybody that I love at work has some level of ADD too. What the heck did I do?
What is going on? It's like the technology industry
Doc
is pervasive.
Searles
Spend all
and
the time staring at screens.
Mr. Rod Powell. Oh God, I love all those cats, but it's so funny to see their ADD happening in live action.
It's a thing. It is real. My goodness. Yeah. All right. So I definitely need to get a resume together. But I mean, even if I had a resume together, like I don't know what I'd do with it. Like,
Well, mine is out there on LinkedIn, and if I
Yeah.
have to go to services like Indeed or ZipRecruiter or what have you, they do want to see one.
For sure. For sure.
The stuff that I'm doing with the VO work or what have you, they don't want to see it very often. Every now and then someone asks, but not very often.
Really, at the end of the day, it's like, how's your
they-
voice?
Yeah, what do you sound
you?
like?
Yeah,
What
can
is
you
what
read it?
is yeah, and what a lot of people are wanting to know, Mr. Howell, are video reels. And Mr. Alex Lindsay has said this for years. If you can throw together some video clips of yourself, do it. And it'll go a long way versus a resume. So
sure.
I don't have a lot of myself because most of the time I was on the other side of the camera. So the reels
Yeah,
that
but
I
you
put
do.
together is if I'm pitching to be on the set of an indie film or what have you. Because I did interview for a camera operator for an indie film that's going to be shooting here soon in the area. I don't think I got it because I haven't heard back, but I needed to make sure I had a video reel that showed my style, my eye, if you will, you know, and that's still a resume, if you will, but it's just
for
in
sure
video.
it is.
You know, but
Yeah,
for
it's
someone
the kind
like
of resume
you,
that someone hiring for a video actually really cares about is like, okay,
right.
well, show me your work, you know.
And as a broadcaster, because we are broadcasters, we should have video reels of ourselves in the broadcast world, you know.
Yeah, that is one thing that I thankfully did take some time to do. Is I went through, I took like an afternoon and just thought like, what are the moments at Twit, like the interviews or the, you know, just of all the content that I did at Twit, what are the things that I want to keep for either nostalgic reasons, or because this would be, you know, good fodder for a reel of some sort. And, you know, like over the years, I talked to a lot of notable people and interviewed a lot of people and reviewed a lot of products and everything like that. And, you know, there's probably a really great place on LinkedIn for me to, you know, like showcase that stuff, but I just need to put it together. But that just requires me to take my foot off the gas of this other thing that I'm doing. And that's a challenge.
Well, how about this, Mr. Howell? It sounds like you need an assistant. Have you considered that? That's a real question.
Yes.
Have you considered it?
I have absolutely considered what it would be like to have someone to, you know, I sort of have I have a marketing assistant now, like I was talking about earlier. So that's useful. I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm not making any money. Like I'm making very little money. Let's be honest.
Same
do
here.
I have the money to put into an assistant? Do I have the money to put into an editor? And I know editors can be inexpensive if you go to like Upwork and everything like that. One thing that I've thought is like, man, in the old paradigm, I produced the show, you know, created the script, sat down, recorded the pieces, and then I was done. Then Anthony or whoever else, Kevin, you know, on the team, took the stuff and edited it. And then, you know, usually the same person published it to the stream. And then, you know, we had so many people, you know, working on marketing behind the scenes and everything like that. So my job was to create the content and then be done. Now I'm doing it all. And absolutely, if I knew that I didn't have to edit my content, I could produce 3 times as much as I do now. Easy. Like I just know that right off the top. But I don't have the resources to hire someone to do that right now. Even though that might actually be a very smart spend, because it might actually pick up more momentum on growing the channel and stuff if I was producing that regularly. So I don't know. I don't know what the right approach is. Maybe
I've thought about
something like that is smart.
I thought about an assistant myself, but again, I'm a bit of a control freak, and I like order, and so far I handle my order and organization best myself, you know, because again I could see that calendar, but I totally get the idea of having an assistant, and I don't think that's a bad idea for either of us, you know.
No. I mean, I guarantee you it would be helpful. It's just, you know, like no question about it. Having an assistant would be amazing. And dude, I'm sure that I can produce better work.
I used to laugh back when I started here with Twit. It was so weird to shoot the show and just go home.
Yeah. I got spoiled, man. We're spoiled
like,
in that situation. Yeah, totally.
Because I'd been creating my own content for years before that. And so it was wearing all of the hats of being the talent, being the producer, being the editor, and the marketing and all of that. And it was really weird there for a minute. It's like, oh, just go home now? That's it? Okay.
I just do that? Are you sure? You don't need me for anything else? Like,
can I at least put up the mic? Couldn't even put up the mic, you know?
Yeah. That's not your job. Yeah, I mean, we're spoiled. That is an environment where you're very spoiled as a you know,
Mr. Jammer B literally slapped my hand one day. Don't you touch that microphone. I'm putting those up.
damn it, he's good at it. Yeah, I miss all of them. We need
Oh
to
yeah,
get
I
everybody
do.
together. And yeah, and like it's weird because I feel like on one hand I've worked my ass off,
Mm-hmm.
and I filled the time working harder, in many ways harder than I worked at Twit, because of what we're talking about, just because
Yep.
the distribution of labor was just different there versus now doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like it feels like I've blinked, and the layoff happened early December.
Mm-hmm.
What are we, 4 months later? Already 4 months
It's
later?
been quick, bro. It's been
And I
quick.
remember at the time being like, okay, I've got some runway here. And
It's
now,
been a long
now I'm
time
like,
past.
oh, it's good work.
It's been a
You know?
long time past. And the thing is,
Yeah.
though, I thought about this here over the last couple of weeks because it's I've been thinking about the future, far as with my family and so forth. And you came to mind because it all happened at the same time. And I said, you know what? If there's anybody that's capable of doing this and making a go of it, it's the both of us.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
you clearly have the skill set and talent and personality and charm. You can make this go. So I'm not worried one bit about Yellow Gold and Mr. Howell.
Well, thank you.
I don't. Some people, I don't believe they got what it takes. I've worked from home for most of my professional career, and I don't think anybody can just do that. I think you can. Yes, you have your ADD battles and so forth, but I still believe that you could sit down and say, all right, today I'm going to talk about this new watch, and you will spend 2 hours straight just
This new
diving
watch?
right through it. That new watch right there. So,
Yeah.
and everybody's
thank
not built that way. When the pandemic
true.
happened and the studio shut down and so forth, I literally smiled because I was like, oh, this is nothing. Because I came back here to my house, it was already ready to go, because that's just what I do. And that's
Yeah.
what I've done
You
for
dropped
so
right in.
long. And we could tell a difference. It took a minute for you to adjust because you had to readjust your house and the family
Yeah.
and the schedule
I had
and
to
so
figure
forth.
out, is there a room I could even do this in? Turned out it was
Yeah.
the bedroom. Yeah.
But then when it came to me, my family knew, all they know is I've worked from home. My kids, that's all they've ever known is I work from home. I'd go to the office every now and then, but most of the time I had a corner in the house or in the apartment. That was my workspace.
That's such a gift for your family.
It
It is. I mean, it's really, like, that is one thing that I really love about this. And actually, even when I was working at Twit, yes, I had to go in and sit down on a set and do a lot of my stuff, but it was kind of more like a hybrid kind of
It was.
experience.
It was
the last
definitely
handful of
hybrid.
years. And
It was definitely
so I
hybrid.
got more time at home. I got to see everybody, which is amazing. But then, please reference earlier ADD conversation. It can get really distracting as well. I just had the conversation last night at the dinner table with my wife just about how, even having a simple door would make a difference. But, this room is open to everything. So
Yeah.
anything that happens is a
Yeah.
squirrel moment for me, as much as I try for it not to be. But no, I think you're absolutely right, Ant. We are in a position to do this. It's not a given. Nothing is a
Right.
given.
Right.
But we are in a position with experience and everything, and just the fact that we are benefited by the fact that we were in front of so many people through Twit. So we have a foundation, many of which are watching and listening right now.
Hello,
I don't
everyone.
take that for granted for a second. I am so grateful for the people who have followed me for as long as they have. I'm sure you feel the same way, that
Yep.
are enabling me to start as if I'm hitting the ground running. Because I mean, Tay wrote here and said, and I appreciate this, said, did
Oh,
you see
yeah.
how polished Jason's reviews are? Like, he's been
those
doing this
reviews
for a
are
while.
freaking pretty, dude.
So, I mean-
I'm like, wow, this dude.
Oh, cool.
He's good at this.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, at the end of the day, like, a lot of people who try and get into YouTube, to start as a creator, they have no foundation other than they've watched a lot of YouTube, and at a certain point they realize, like, oh, I could do that. I just have to learn skills. I might be new to YouTube, right? In this facility.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this shit for 20 years.
Right. You know what it
So-
takes. It's just you're new to the quote new to the platform.
New to the platform. And so, so that's why I could launch and get to 13 subscribers in a month. That's 1,300 subscribers in a month. That's why my first video can be a highly, polished, edited piece, which I'm very proud of.
Oh, that's great.
And a lot of people, they have to build for years to kind of get there. So I recognize that. There are, though, kind of the challenges that I face now, which is, okay, I can do all those things. For me, that's the easy part. The hard part is, how do I take what I have and turn it into money-making opportunities? And is that brand deals? Is that affiliate marketing? Is that, ads on AI Inside, which, right now it's dynamic ad insertion, not making much, but it's making something. It's kind of like what you talked about. It's potentially paying for the water bill, or something along those lines.
That's
but
the
I
thing.
mean, all of that needs to grow. And that growth is something that I'm not too adept at, but I'm trying like hell to learn it.
And I'm the same way. I'm not going to claim to be a marketing genius, but man, I know that if anything, if I don't market myself, how the hell do I expect someone else to market?
Oh, for sure. No, you're absolutely right.
So I will push, I will spam if I have to, and I use spam loosely, but I will promote the heck out of whatever it is that I need to promote, because that's what it's going to take. My channel has been around for a while, but it's been quiet, and since it's been quiet, YouTube has just sort of put me to the side, but now I'm trying to ramp it back up, and YouTube is starting to show me a little bit of grace. So folks watching, I'd appreciate you subscribing, because I'm almost at 5,000 now, and that would really be appreciated.
And you are live streaming your podcast.
And I am live streaming. Right? Yes, I am.
Because that's regular.
Yeah.
Because like when I look at my stats, I'm like, on a week-to-week basis, like I'm finishing up my review of the OnePlus Watch 2. So that's going to go live probably early afternoon today. And when I look at my weekly stats, like my challenge for myself has been one piece of fully edited content to the site a week, which is actually a lot when when I consider the amount of time it takes me to edit all this stuff. But I'm streaming AI Inside there every single week. That's an hour of streaming. I'm doing these. I should probably do more of them. That would help. I'm pulling out shorts from the content, repurposing them. So when I get that end of week kind of roundup, it's like, it's actually listed. It's like, 1 video, 2 live events, 4,
I love those analytic reports.
Shorts. And I'm like, oh, well, actually, I'm doing a lot, even though it feels like I could be doing more, versus some people that like, all that they do all that they can, work into their schedule is to do 1 video every week or every couple of weeks.
But a lot of those
4 or 5 things up there. So I guess I'm doing okay.
But a lot of those people have teams too, Mr. Howell. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
They're not solo the way they come off on camera. They have teams of people helping them out. And
at a certain point, and at a certain point, I would absolutely, I would do that. Absolutely. No question. I don't know when that point is. Probably when I'm actually making.
I'd like to do it one of these days, because my kids are. I think my kids are able to help out on this if they were enticed to do so. My son, my high school boy, he's a photographer, and so I know he knows his way around a camera, and if he needs to jump in and edit photos, he can help out with that or what have you. And I know he's been interested in video, because I've seen him edit a video clip of himself like last year or not too long ago, and just listening to him go on about, oh my God, it took that long to edit 60 seconds of video. I was like,
did he edit in CapCut? I'm curious.
No, he did it in I want to say he did it in Premiere. Did it in Premiere. And then
a lot of kids are editing on CapCut because it's the mobile thing. And it turns out CapCut is like actually becoming a legitimate edit thing with like all these really cool AI kind of integrations and stuff.
All of those things work really well now compared to what they were a couple of years ago. So I was like, maybe I could bring them on as part of the team one day. And that is a vision that I have. But first, I want them to continue to work through their current paths. And Richard Williams says, two wonderful creatives. Looks like a super chat.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You got a super chat. I'm assuming that went to your channel because I'm not allowed for super chats, but that is amazing, Richard.
Oh, thank you so much, Richard.
Super awesome.
Richard watched the show live last week because we were so late. He's in the UK. So it was perfect timing for him in the UK to watch it live.
There you go. Steve Mayers, is it Mayers? Says, were you guys able to see my comment by any chance? I scrolled back. I didn't.
Where is it?
See what you're talking about.
Let me see, Steve. I'm gonna check on my side too. Steve. No, I don't see
Mayers.
it.
Good morning, Jason.
Oh, there it is.
Great seeing you too, Miss.
Oh, yeah. Now I see it. Thank you, nice. Steve.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this is fun. I do, unfortunately, at the top of the hour, have to go.
Really?
I have a Lottie's appointment at like 11:30. I've got a few minutes beyond 11, but I will have to leave in probably like 10 minutes. But
what can you say about your watch, man?
Oh, you want to talk shop?
I'm curious because I have thoughts on these smartwatches nowadays, but
yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So first of all, my full review going up later this afternoon. Yellowgoldstudios.com takes you to my channel, but you might already be there watching this. So subscribe and all the things. And it's a pretty sizable review. It's probably about 13, 14 minutes.
Good.
And I've been using it pretty strongly for the last month. I'd say kind of the Cliff's Notes version of my review is that the promise is that this is a battery beast, and in my use, OnePlus absolutely delivers. Like it is probably the best battery I've ever experienced with a device running Wear OS. The OnePlus Watch, the original one, had excellent long-standing battery, but it was not running Wear OS. It was running a kind of a proprietary OS based on Android, but it wasn't Wear OS.
Yeah.
This has the hybrid system, so it has two different chips serving two different purposes. One chip devoted to a lot of the lower power underlayer stuff, and then on the other chip, the Qualcomm, that is dedicated to Wear OS functionality. And I mean, I'm regularly able to get 4 to 5 days out of it.
Dude,
on full throttle, AOD on, always on display on, which is how I like my wearables.
That's crazy.
My main complaint is that it is a huge watch.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm okay with that. My wrists are big enough, but it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty used to kind of the smaller Pixel Watch by comparison. I don't know if you can see that,
I always wanted the bigger watch faces. That's why I used to like the Samsung Gear or what have you, because those tended to look a little bit bigger on the wrist. And that right there, dude, you said the battery and you got that watch face size. I would be in for this thing because I think I'm getting like a day my watch is charging. I think I'm getting like a day and a half on the Pixel Watch 2. And I love the watch. It does what it needs to do. But the day and a half charging thing, I was like,
I mean, at the end of the day, for me, if my wearable lasts from the moment I pull it off the charger in the morning to the very last minute I put it in the charge at night and has some extra, so I know that if it was a crazy day, it would still go the distance, I'm fine with that. Yeah. I don't really need to wear my watch multiple days. One thing that I think that's interesting about this is, it does the sleep tracking, which I'm not a huge fan of sleep tracking. I don't really care. But and especially because it's a large watch, like I'm going to go to sleep with this huge watch on my wrist. That's what you need to do if you want to sleep track. But when it does that, it turns off the main chip. So it's sleep tracking in the lower power chip.
Power.
And so even though you're sleep tracking overnight, you lose maybe 2-3%. Like it's very minimal.
Because I do track my sleep. And that's why I don't want to
smart.
Have to charge it all the time because I want to sleep with it on. And a lot of times I forget to check the battery on it and wake up with a dead battery. So I ended up changing my routine. So now I will throw it on the charger every day while I'm doing my morning routine. So it's at least 15 minutes, 20 minutes on the charger between brushing, getting dressed and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
And that seems to help me out and at least get me going a day and a half. Shout out to Ozone Nightmare, Mr. Esposito with the super chat. I'll leave it to Mr. Pruitt to split this super chat with Jason. One way to get more traction is to just use the words, "This is the video Apple doesn't want you to see." Boom.
I know.
Hey,
I know.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for the super chat.
There is a whole science to how you title your videos.
Yeah.
How the fact that, 3 to 4 words in your thumbnail, those words shouldn't be the same thing that's in your title. It's just wasted repetition.
Yeah.
2 to 3 elements in your thumbnails total, some sort of emotion. Like, I've been doing so much research about this stuff and trying to put it into practice and hoping that I'm doing an okay job with it.
The emotions, the thumbnails get me every time because I refuse to be the person doing those dumbass faces. And there's a lot. I will not even watch a video with a dumbass face on it anymore. I just won't. I'm not doing it, cuz I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
but I've been fortunate with the show recently. I've been able to capture some screenshots of her making a face is just laughing. Generally it's just laughing is what I will go with.
That's
a good
what I
smile.
look for. Totally.
A good smile.
And we had this realization, or rather I started working on this and then I brought it to the Android Faithful team. But, we had a certain thumbnail style for Android Faithful. I had a certain thumbnail style for AI Inside that was just a little bit more kind of like official and generic. And I started doing all this research on thumbnails and stuff. And I was like, what if, these shows have a lot of personality, but when you look at the thumbnail, none of that personality comes through. It's like profile shot of our guest and then a bunch of words and like an Android figurine. It's like, what if instead I take the 20 minutes, because it actually takes a while to do this way, but take the 20 minutes to scrub through each episode and find one moment where each host is reacting in some way. Are they laughing? Are they surprised or something? Something authentic though.
Something real.
And then line them up. Because there's some emotion. It's motion that's from the episode. It gives you a sense of personality. Like, you know what I notice is when I'm scrubbing for these moments, if there was a camera on me, all you'd see is me smiling for 20 minutes because I'm looking for smiles. And I've busted myself so many times where I'm scrolling through. I'm like, oh no, not that one. Oh, there's the smile. I'm totally reacting to it. And when I react to it is when I know I found a good one. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'll pull this. So anyway, but it is a lot more work. It takes 3 times as long to make those thumbnails than it did the old method.
Yeah, it does. TyQ with the super chat in there. Thank you. The return of the dream team. Hope to see the two of you guys do more videos. Yeah, I'm totally down for this. Totally down for this. Thank you.
This is fun stuff. Live, let's be real. Live is easy, right, dude?
It is.
Live is, fire up the stream, talk about stuff that's important, that means something to you.
Yeah.
And no edit whatsoever. It's
None.
the edited stuff that is, oh my God. Like, I'm so proud of the things that I'm editing right now, but then it takes so much work to get there. Man, it's crazy.
Man, it's but it's worth it. I freaking enjoy it. It's a lot of hard work, but I freaking enjoy it. Dang, another super chat. Man, Ozone Nightmare.
What
Here's
are
a
you
new
doing,
dude.
Man?
Here's how you do
Ozone
it.
Nightmare, you need to super chat yourself. Take back some of this stuff. Thank you, man. That's really nice of you. It's super
Thank
kind.
y'all. We do appreciate that. Dude, you gotta get out here. Get ready for your appointment.
Yeah, I probably do. I'm also realizing my stomach is a little empty, and I don't want to go to a Pilates appointment on an empty stomach. Completely empty, anyways.
I got to go buy a shirt for tomorrow, just a backup shirt for tomorrow.
Did they tell you this is for the modeling thing, right?
Yeah, they'll have wardrobe there, but again, you and I are awkwardly sized, shaped people, so
Right.
I like to make sure
outside of the norm for sure.
Yeah, so I like to make sure I have my own stuff there on set too. And so they sent me their shot list, or not shot list. They sent me the color schemes that they want. So I said I'll go pick up at least one thing as a backup, because I have most of the stuff here already, just to be safe. And then I have a volleyball game to shoot this afternoon.
Yeah. Wow. Busy man. Yeah.
I need to be busier.
I hear you. I probably should be too, but we had that conversation. Have fun, and this was a lot of fun. Let's do this again. This was
Just yell, my man. I'm just yell. You got my number.
yeah. No,
I'm
it's
totally
cool to be able to
down.
do this and
Yeah.
kind of because we are kind of on very similar tracks and taking different approaches, but doing a lot of this, very similar things and obviously have a lot of shared audience.
And I'm always
Likes to
down to
see us
answer
together.
questions of people in the chat too. So folks, if you ever
Yeah.
have questions, just shoot the questions my way and or Jason's way.
Yeah,
And,
same.
and
Same. I reply to every comment.
Yeah.
If you're dropping a comment in YouTube and you have a legitimate question, like I will reply and I will answer. So
yeah. Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect.
And on something like this in the future, we'll make it happen again. Everybody, thank you so much for watching and for sharing and being so wonderful. You guys are awesome. Like I'm so grateful for all of you. And later the review hitting the channel of the OnePlus Watch 2, and then even later Android Faithful. So, and then I should also mention tomorrow on AI Inside, Sal Khan, CEO and founder of Khan Academy, is joining me and Jeff because I had this real quick before we go. I had this really interesting experience where I was at my daughter's school. And I help out there every Monday with like stuffing homework folders and stuff just to keep myself like engaged and see, what the school work is like, see my daughter in her class and stuff.
Such a good man.
And the art teacher was there one day and she was giving this art lesson to everyone and an art assignment. This is the 5th grade, by the way. And so she gives the assignment and then one of the boys in the class raises his hand and he's like, "Can we use AI for this assignment?" And she's like, "Well, probably not for this assignment." And I like went in and was stuffing homework and I was like, man, like that's an interesting conversation. Like how is AI impacting what the future of education will be? Because, this isn't the kind of thing where you stick your head in the sand and you just keep saying, no. The kids know about it. 5th graders know about these things and they're going to use it. So how do you bring that technology into the educational experience
With
in a
guardrails.
positive way? How do you do that? And I was like, who would be good to talk about this? And I was like, well, Khan Academy is very like forward thinking in education. I reached out and the press handler person, really nice lady, said, yes, Sal's interested. So he's going to be on tomorrow.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
you guys going to talk about the Stability AI CEO? You're going to get into that too?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll spend the first half of the show talking to Sal, and then the last half we'll check in on the news. And I mean, that's one of the big stories. So
I somehow hit my camera over here. What did I do?
Oh, you switched to OBS input in StreamYard would be my guess.
There we go.
Is that
my stream deck was right here and my coffee mug hit it. So
okay.
I must have hit a
Stream
button.
Deck too, but I'm not using OBS right now. All right, I gotta go, man.
All right, sir. Good to see you, brother.
Hold the line. I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you, everybody. So great to see you all. Thank you for the amazing super chats and for the regular chats and for all the questions and comments and support.
Indeed.
Can't thank you enough, and we will see y'all very soon. Bye, everybody.